Hello, everyone, and welcome to Streamlapse. Thank you to those people who are here again from episode 2. Episode 2? Episode 1. I'm getting ahead of myself now. I did pre record an episode because I wasn't able to sort of work over the weekend. I got caught up at work, so I'll be uploading 2 episodes today. Look forward to that. But here we're starting off again with my animation scene. Got the whole sort of set roughly blocked out. Just sort of, I think here I'm just labeling all my objects and tidying things up. So if I didn't notice before, making sure everything's grouped and labeled. I can easily move them around later on, which you'll see maybe I'll do at some point. Here I am, sort of setting up for the first shot, where character walks through the door. You may notice a new feature, or I wouldn't say new feature. New to Maya 2020 is a default world scale is different now. Where previously, I think it worked by meter basis. Now I think it's centimeter by centimeter. So all your objects are gonna look way bigger than your default scenes now, which I find a little bit infuriating. I'm gonna have to change those preferences back. So here I am, and I didn't think I realized exactly what had been going on with the world scale being so small, so I was trying to scale my animation puppet down. But obviously when you're scaling things into these such small values, some of the sort of locators sort of bug out and your controls break. But yeah, this is a rig that I have. This is a rig that was provided to me by my uni, which we use for our uni projects. It doesn't really matter what you use as your animation puppet, whether you've made a rig in the past, you can use that as a character. Because we're really just storyboarding here. There's nothing professional being done with these storyboards. It's just a very rough block out of what your story is and the composition of your shots. So you could use really anything. Even if you downloaded something off the internet, don't worry about copyright. This isn't really going to be published work that you're earning money off of or anything like that. So, just don't tell anyone. So here I am just kind of gesturing my character. He's sort of just shambling into his apartment. He's exhausted. He's just worked a full, 10-hour shift, and I think he got held back, so it's like, 5 in the morning for him. And he's really, really not doing well. Here I was just modeling a real quick smartphone. It'll take place in a couple of the shots. Direct the camera a bit. But yeah. I think just making sure that everything's correctly positioned, and now I'm just lining up my shot, getting ready to turn off my, controls and things, so I can now go ahead and sort of screenshot the frame, making sure all my assets are actually visible and seen before I screenshot it. Loading up InDesign, which I have my storyboards nicely laid out on, and I'll just be... My mouth will wiggle, chewing on something. I don't remember what it was. I think it was Kit Kat, that's what it was. But yeah, I've just opening up my InDesign, and blocking out all the photos. Yeah, just so I like to screenshot my frame based on what my resolution is, and then I can pretty much, if you've already got photos in your InDesign project, you can drag a new photo over top to replace the photo, which is always handy. And I'm saving out my screenshots into individual files as well, so I can go back and access them in case I lose them or they go missing somehow. It's nothing too special, just super quick, super rough. And now just cranking on to shot 3. think for this, I have relatively close storyboard actions, just a couple of steps or two, a couple of moments in time. He sort of goes over to lean on his table, and he's just kind of exhausted. I guess he's taking a moment to catch his breath. He's tired. Much like me right now. Honestly, not feeling too great today, but it's always good to get these episodes out at some point. So I really like the rig that is on this this character model here, for the hands especially. It's really nice for getting those super... it can be a little finicky to work with, but for the most part it's really easy to position. You can get some really nice information out of the hands. You've got twist controls, you've got, knuckle curls, and you can curl each individual section of the fingers in, which is relatively normal stuff, but I don't know. Haven't used too many rigs myself, and it does afford quite a lot of creativity of what you can do. Another thing is just making sure your character's center of mass is, located accurately. So he's laying on the table here, so his sort of center of mass is slightly in front of his feet. He's sort of propping himself up at the table, but if you're walking normally, your center of mass would line up with your feet, because that's what's really holding you up. If it wasn't, your character would constantly look like they're about to fall over, and you don't really want that. Luckily, at least in storyboarding phase, it's not hugely important, because you got no animation, but once you start to animate it, and if that's still a problem, you will start to notice it. I think here I'm sort of, with a lot of storyboards, I cut in between, in and out of first person. So this is a sort of first person shot of my character looking at his cell phone. At that point, I want to have the cell phone displaying a message from his boss telling him to come in at like some ridiculous time in the morning, like 8:30. It's like 5 in the morning for him, so he's realizing he's gonna get like 3 hours sleep before his boss wants him back, and he's just over it. He's angry, he's furious. Man, here again, just I was having a lot of problems with my computer this day, so I think the stream cut's really short, but basically I've just run out of space on my computer, and I got a Windows update which is screaming at me, and my entire computer's just really having a rough time, and my screenshot tool just wasn't saving the photo properly. So I was messing around with it, trying to get it to work, and I eventually did. So there's the fourth shot. It's a pretty quick and easy way to get your shots out. I find it much easier just to draw them, because drawing the same environment over and over and over again and getting it to match in every single shot is just a nightmare, honestly, if you don't have that much drawing prowess. And I think this works, great, if not better, because you've got, 3D reference of exactly what you want. And so I think it's just, I'm sort of lining him up for a face shot. Just an extreme close-up on his face and his sort of distraught expression from reading the message on his phone. I think now that he's taken a step back and he's no longer leaning on the table, you can see I'm trying to rebalance his center of mass. I don't think I got it quite right there. I think he's still leaning forward a bit too much, but it's a first-person shot, and it really doesn't matter too much. Now all you get is, the shoulders up, so it's quite a... It's me wiggling the face control there. I couldn't quite remember what it did, but it sort of just contorts his face a little bit. Now, I didn't bother doing the facial expression here because the character isn't the character I'm going to be using in my animation, and I didn't know if I could actually represent you know, the kind of expression I wanted to make with the rig that I have. But yeah, that's, so you look how quickly I managed to do, you know, 4 shots. Because I don't have to redraw, I don't have to spend all that extra time, you know, working on making sure that, you know, my lines are well done and my composition's actually working. And it's so much easier to correct it as well, because, you know, I can just position the camera slightly differently, and then I've got a sort of, you know, my shot's working better. I think at this point, something happened. I don't know. My computer was throwing a fit. It was, yeah, lagging and stuttering. And it was causing me so many problems that I think I just decided to end the stream for the day. We cut ahead here. We'll be able to see exactly how I ended it off. If I did any more. Okay, yeah, I did. So, sort of here I'm just sort of gearing up to do the last shot. I wanted to finish my storyboard before I sort of clocked out for the day, even though my computer was giving me an absolute headache. I think you'll notice that sometimes I do little spins when my computer freezes for a bit, and sort of forces me to continue rotating the camera even though I'm not currently pressing an input. It could be a little infuriating. But here I just wanted him to start picking up his phone. He's sort of furious at what's on his phone, and he's about to pick it up and throw it across the room. And I just wanted to make sure that I got that last frame. So here I'm just trying to position the phone. He sort of half picked it up, so his fingers have curled underneath the phone. These are me constantly opening Space Sniffer, trying to check exactly what's going on. See, my computer is having a hard time there. But here I'm just sort of curling his knuckles. I'm about to curl all the fingers underneath. Sort of, it's good to check your own hand's reference. I think your own hand is the best reference you can get. Oftentimes your own, you know, personal motion is the best reference you can get. So especially when you're doing full live animation, you want to be, you know, recording reference video of all the motions and trying to put yourself in that environment as much as possible. Here I'm basically just looking at my own hands and guesstimating, because with the advent of storyboards, these storyboards could very well change, and I don't want to put in all that effort and all that reference into something which is supposed to just be a sort of visual guide. But here I'm just sort of lining up that last shot, and then I think I'm about to switch to sort of a first-person view so I can... so here's what I'm doing. What I'm doing now is I'm looking for a head scale. That's the control I was looking for. I know it was in there somewhere, just because when I position the camera above the body, I don't want the, you know, head to occlude the camera. So I want to sort of line up, and then the camera's free to do what it wants, and it looks more first-person that way. Don't have to worry about the head being there. So you put the camera like right in front of the face. Oftentimes, you know, your camera's, you know, FOV is so short that, or so small that you don't really see a whole lot. So here I'm just, you know, rounding out by, yeah, a little frustrated on my machine here, but I decided to, you know, export that last shot and, you know, paste it in and round off the day. Well, thank you guys for tuning in for the second episode of Streamlapse. I know today was a little bit underwhelming. Both myself, a little tired, and also just, you know, the footage I recorded, not great. But I wanted to jot this down. I wanted to sort of landmark this because I did do some stuff and start some practices, which may be interesting for some of you. And I didn't want to miss out that first opening segment of storyboarding, even if it was relatively unproductive. Thank you guys for hanging around to the end. I appreciate all yous. I have English ability. All you who stuck around, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.